With God's blessing, we are gathered here today to honor three humble heroes of our military who have become leading role models in our community. We are here to celebrate their continued service, those who have already given their courage, their nobility, their strength, their loyalty to flag and country.
I want to say thank you to everyone who has served our country, not only to the folks on the dais and out in the audience, but to everyone who has allowed us to be here today in a country that is free because of the brave. And one of those brave individuals is County Executive Daniel P. McCoy.
People forget, and I throw this number out there all the time, there's literally 330 million Americans in this country, and approximately 1% has donned that uniform, has put that uniform on and has really given all they can to this country. And they come home, be it either at peacetime or at war, they raise their hand and to put that uniform on, not for the medals, not for the fancy looking uniform, but to really serve their country. And they didn't come back for the pats on the backs or the recognition. They just came back and did quiet things throughout the community. And I like to bust on Joe a lot, but as our former veteran director, Tri-City Council of Veterans, they've done so much. I've watched these men really pitch in for the Gold Star, Mother's Memorial up the street, and for Lafayette for what they have done there and their passion. And I watched them when they were sick, digging holes and carrying bricks at their age, and they are getting a little old, just saying, Joe. But doing work that a 20-year-old person should be doing. And again, they weren't doing it looking for pats on their backs. They're doing it because they want to thank their fellow veteran.
When I was a young E5, he said, you need to belong to a veteran organization. Doesn't matter the organization, but you need to belong to it. They're the ones who fight for our military after they are out. So I took his advice, and I have been a member of the VFW for many years. When I took this position, I became a member of the American Legion. And the first ceremony I went to, there was one man who walked up to me, and he was the first person to say, hey, welcome to Albany. That was Harvey. As I got to know the organizations and everything, Harvey is a backbone of a lot of the veteran organizations in our county. He's one of those guys that can always be counted on. He's always there for everybody. And Harvey, we appreciate everything that you do for the veterans and Albany County.
It's an honor that I didn't think was coming to me. I'm not a hero or anything like that. I'm just a laid-back person. If somebody needs help, I'll try and help them out. So, again, I am here to be honored. My brother here, my daughter Christine, my son-in-law Mike, my niece Michelle, my sister-in-law Dolores, and my daughter-in-law Teresa, and my son-in-law, or my nephew Jimmy. I do come from a family of military. Let me just tell you that part before I sit down. I come from a family of 10, 6 brothers, and we all served in the military one way or another. Both my father and my brother Ray served in the National Guard for over 30 years. My brother Leo served in the Navy active duty for 4 years. My brother Larry served in the Army for 4 years. My brother Roger and my brother Paul served in the National Guard for the initial 6 years. My son served his 20 years on the National Guard, but 2 years and 2 tours in Iraq. So we do come from some roots of the military, and we're damn proud of it.
What I would like to say about Joe is I noticed Joe at the building, up at the state headquarters. He had this leadership style that was very unique. People followed you, Joe. You had a quiet demeanor, but you demanded the respect, and people followed you. It was amazing how you could pull the best out of people. One of the units that was right across, he was in the unit right across the hall from us, and I will tell you that his staff they are 4 of the most recruited people in the entire National Guard, and a lot of it is due to his leadership.
I know from being a military brat, you guys didn't have it easy when you came home, so you made sure my guys had it easy. You made sure we were taken care of. Over my 24 years in the military, I joined a military that just like Mr. McCoy. We were training to fight the Russians, and as Desert Storm came, we changed dramatically the National Guard. Going were the days at the clubs when, lunchtime, hey, go have a couple beers. Those days went away we became a regular job where you needed to be ready when the nation called so you could answer that call. There was no more time to play around. It wasn't just go as like a fraternal organization. We actually really were in the military, and they expected you to perform like the military. So over the 90s, we drastically changed regardless of funding. Our soldiers changed, our NCOs changed, and we had to change as those of us that were members. And over that time, I had some good leadership around me that taught me, just like Sergeant Major Secor, hey, do what's right, do the hard right over the easy wrong, and over my career, both in the sheriffs and as in the military, that's what we try to do. I was able to serve in a lot of different places as an MP. We got to do a lot of things. Probably the most proudest moment of my life in the National Guard is the saddest day in the country's life is when we as the National Guard responded to September 11th. It's the first time I got to see my father cry when we left, and it hit me, because no longer, we trained a lot to go to war, but what we saw down at September 11th wasn't something any of us trained for. And our generation of veterans, we changed. And now they're still carrying the call today, because we're still in the Middle East, we're still in Iraq, and we're still in Afghanistan. So I was able to serve my 24 years, and then come to the conclusion, I got to work with some very good soldiers, as Sergeant Major Secor said, Sergeant Major Piorowski. I got to work with some outstanding NCOs and some officers. And General Sweezy, from being our commander, we got to go to a lot of different places. When the 105th went to Iraq in 2003, that was the first time New York State sent a unit. And unfortunately, while we were there, we lost 2 of our brothers. They were killed in combat from IEDs, a term that we learned long before the media coined it or put it on TV, or those of us in law enforcement changed our tactics, so we have to worry about that kind of stuff here.
It's a great honor to introduce and talk about Bert Thorne. Bert's been a member of Tri-County for 30-plus years, and he's been a past president, he's been a vice president, he's been on the board of directors. But the biggest thing that Bert took over when we started VetTrack was started in Albany, I think it was 2007 or 2008, I can't remember which the day was, with a phone call from a couple judges when I was director of the Veterans Bureau to start VetTrack. Larry Wiest was on the committee. We met with DA Soares, and we met with the judicial people, Judge Cericia, who was the head of the 7th District, to talk about VetTrack. It was a hard sell because the judge wanted to start in all 7 counties at once, which we thought was an impossible task. So Albany County was the first one to start in this area. Over the years, VetTrack it fell by the wayside. But Bert by himself decided that we had to bring it back up. So Bert took over as our representative with VetTrack. Did it by himself for a while, then he got some help. I believe he's got 3 people now helping him, or 2, and he'll introduce them when he comes up. But Bert put a lot of time and effort into this. He made it his passion to help veterans that were in trouble.
I'd like to thank everybody here for this honor. But I also would like to offer congratulations to Albany County. Next month, on July 31st, New York State will be celebrating the 10th anniversary of vet courts. This program started in Buffalo and was followed by Albany County shortly thereafter. Buffalo started 10 years. We've been doing this for 9 years. Joe, myself, Judge Herrick, Larry Wiest, among others from Tri-County Council Vietnam-Era Veterans at our office, put this into place 9 years ago. And it's been going on ever since. For 9 years, We've got volunteers acting as mentors in Albany County Court and have seen almost 70 veterans successfully completed. 95%. This represents a success rate of 95% of veteran participants. There are over 150 veteran courts across the USA, and Albany County was one of the first. Again, thank you for today's honor and allowing us to continue.